Settings. Start video transmission, man. We're going. We're live. Welcome to the stream. All 0 viewers we have. You could watch the VOD and someone would think that might think that'd be funny. I could open YouTube on my computer and make it look like we have a
It's
viewer.
official.
Dude, yeah. We've been talking about this for like years, it feels like. And I'm glad that we're finally just like, you know what? We're doing it.
Dream.
We're just gonna do it.
This is what we always imagine.
Oh yeah.
Right now.
Here we go.
I just got a notification from the YouTube app. Like when you
that I went live because you're
subscribe and the
subscribed.
bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. No, that's awesome.
I feel like I made it. Like I get a subscription that I'm on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
For a notification, I mean.
It's good stuff.
Crazy. Good
Open
times,
it and make sure our mics sound good. Make sure we sound okay. It has a
gonna be
little bit of
extra
latency
trippy.
on it. It has a little latency, but it won't be a big deal.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear us? How's we sound? We sound okay?
Sound good.
Everyone's coming through. And we have one viewer now. What? Totally.
Oh, hey, viewer.
Hey, viewer.
Oh, it's me.
It's you. Yeah.
It's me from the future. Or the past, I mean.
Me from the past. All right.
Anyway, whatever you do, don't drink the coffee.
I think the thing that we couldn't figure out with trying to do a podcast was what are we going to do it over? And I think it was pretty obvious that we both like movies, but we don't always agree on them. So what better way to start a podcast than do it over something we can argue about?
Yes.
Nothing better than two friends arguing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So today, do you want to set the stage or do you want me to set the stage?
Oh, yeah. So, in the corner, weighing in at, this might not be accurate, 275, standing at 5 foot 5 inches.
Who are we talking about?
You.
I'm 5'11", almost 6 foot, and I weigh like 230.
I'm 6 foot on a good day.
6 foot when I'm wearing my my LeBron James
says
shoes.
5'11". No, yeah, but we're talking about Rocky.
Talking about Rocky.
Yeah, but hey, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Before we get into the real meat of the topic of the day, I saw Jungle Cruise yesterday.
Solid. Lauren and I really
good.
enjoyed Jungle Cruise. We thought it was very, very good.
I thought it was good. I will say there was a scene in there that's like Disney at its finest. At its like,
yeah.
You know how like
it's gonna have that.
The sexual innuendos.
There's
like a whole scene where like she's trying to pull a sword out of, like, okay, spoiler alerts for anybody. But basically, she like the Rock has the sword in him, and she's like pulling it out. And he's like, you got to use. He's like, do I do one hand or two hands? He's like, definitely two hands. And then the guy over there, which by the way, he's like, he came out to the Rock as gay. He's totally gay, and like, he's like, do you want for me to put my stick in your mouth, Rock? He's like, no. It's like all of the things going on.
Yeah.
And then the lady over there, she's like, use your feet. Like, this is wrong. Like,
that was weird.
I'm pretty sure the Rock even has a face. Like, he knows what's going on. Like, his character.
Oh, for sure. It was weird. I thought it was a solid movie, though. Lauren and I totally
solid. It was
hey, that can be next week if we want it to, because it's a newer movie, and maybe we can get some traction, because it's like a review of like a more recent film.
You want me to zip it? Well, okay. We'll edit all this out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll edit plenty. That'll be fun. I'll just go and crop stuff and put little whooshes in between.
Yeah.
If I keep looking this way, it's because that's where the stream is running. I want to make sure it's not lagging or anything.
Okay.
So we watched Rocky, right? I watched Rocky. Yeah. Jacob and I were talking about this earlier today. There is a list of movies, and I think it's because, I don't know, there's a list of movies that every dad at one point in his son's early teenage years says, you have to watch this list of movies. And there's like 10 of them, you know, and we could review all of them. But yeah, it's like Rocky, Die Hard, Braveheart, Top Gun, there were more. There were
Patriot,
plenty more.
maybe?
Like The Patriot. Yeah, like just these movies
Yeah.
that are like man
Good
movies. It's
dad
like
movies.
dads
Yes.
show their sons these movies, and
Yes.
Jacob was like, there must be a dad group text out there somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, no, there's
Dude,
probably
what
not.
about this?
But it's
Here's a weird
yeah.
phenomenon. What about dad country? Like, you ever heard like just straight up dad country? He's like, "You grew up way too fast.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
remember your like."
We're
and their
getting off
voice is
topic.
always
You're getting off
tender.
topic. But what I was thinking is Rocky is one of those movies that I saw when I was 15 because my dad was like, it's classic. You have to watch Rocky. And so I watched Rocky one day. And I don't remember it being a good movie. Like, I don't remember anything spectacular about it other than, oh, a dude boxes and he overcomes. Before we can go any further, definitely spoilers. Like, this is a spoiler review. I mean, it's been
Came out in
out for 40 years-ish.
Yeah,
So
76. We looked it
yeah,
up.
anyway. But Rocky,
So
I have to say, I guess first impressions, I'll give mine, you can give yours. First impressions would be like
like watching it recently.
not as bad
After
as I thought it would be, right? Like
yeah,
I enjoyed watching it. I kept
Yeah.
watching it going, "Oh, really?" Like I don't remember. Oh, okay.
I love that.
This is cool. Like it kept surprising me, I guess, even after
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 10 years since I watched it, but I guess like I thought I was going to be bored and want to judge the movie and be like, this movie's trash. Why do people like it so much? And I was surprised, like pleasantly, like I enjoyed this movie. That was just
there's,
my
like-
first impressions.
It's a very like for being a sports boxing movie, like masculine movie. It's a very like subtle build, very nuanced.
Slow burn, for sure.
Um,
in
like-
ways.
I could go more into it, but were you done with your like initial reaction?
Yeah, that's just initial reaction. Really enjoyed it. Like, thought I
Yeah.
wouldn't, definitely did. Was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I watched it last year,
Mhm.
and I went for a run like directly afterwards. I may have done a back to back 1 and 2, which if you haven't done it, it's I mean they're directly like the timeline is directly after the fight,
Mhm.
and it's just more drama between him and Creed. But
It doesn't surprise me.
I'm pretty sure I went for a run like right after that. It's like just
Yeah.
inspired. I want to improve myself, kind of thing. Like it's a self improvement type movie, and no, yeah, there's a lot of value in those movies for sure. What was I talking about? The nuance. There's one scene that I'm blown away by because the whole time you see Rocky, he's like he's like a kind of a thuggy street dude, but he's like really nice to all the people on the street and everybody likes him. And he's just like a talker or whatever. But like the scene where he leaves Adrian after people on the TV were like talking bad about him, and he was like it does a close up on his face, and he's like, remember when I said what they said didn't bother me? Well, it did. And then like it focuses on Adrian's face, who was right behind him but out of focus. I'm like, dude, that's some quality directing right there. Like, first off, we saw like just a cool character moment of Rocky, but then like it was a cool character moment for Adrian to like kind of be there for him, I guess. I don't know. That really got me.
Yeah.
Sweet moment, but
I watched the first 30 minutes separate from the rest of the movie. And
okay.
I was like, do I really want to watch this movie? Like, I was like, oh, maybe we should change what we're reviewing. Because the first 30 minutes, like, it's just him walking around town. It's kind of like creating this character, and
Yeah.
he's like into these pets weirdly because he's trying to get with the pet store worker, Adrian, right? And then
Right.
he's like this hired muscle, but you know he's kind right off the bat, even though he is hired muscle, because he's like, doesn't want to break
Yeah.
the guy's thumb like he was supposed to. And like the first 30 minutes is him just kind of living life and walking around and talking to people and being a guy from he's New Jersey, right? Or no, Philadelphia. Just being a guy from Philadelphia. And it's like a guy who's, lower socioeconomic level and things like that. And I was just
Big
kind of like,
word.
this is strange. Like not what I was expecting at all. because I remembered it being a sports movie, being a big training moment. And I'll say this to kind of just intro the way I'm going to talk about this movie. This is not a sports movie. This movie is not about boxing.
Can I say something on top of that real quick?
Yeah.
Most good sport movies are not sport movies.
Yeah. I was so surprised.
Maybe most movies that are good are not those like typecast by their own genre. Maybe they're able to transcend that.
Mm-hmm.
This movie definitely being one of them. But
yeah.
Continue.
No, just watching it, I was like, this isn't a sports movie. This is about a guy overcoming. I think that it's about this, they keep calling him a bum. It's like about this bum and then the American dream. And like getting there and succeeding and being seen. And it's like how he gets
Creed
from the streets and then seeing his goal and then getting a shot at his goal. It's like this, like he even makes a statement at one point. I think he's like, this is my one shot. This is like, they keep calling him this lucky guy and all this stuff. And so he like takes advantage of that. And I think there's something that was a little inspiring to me about that is like, you get like maybe in life, like you work hard and you do your best and you just keep going about. Maybe you don't know where to go and what to do, but he like got this one shot and so he took it. And I think that has like a lot of value for me. And like one day I might get my one shot. I gotta take that shot. You know what I'm saying? That might be this.
You know what I love about Rocky though, the character, was that he was given the shot, and he's such a nice, humble guy that he doesn't think he's worthy of that shot. Like he initially says no, and the promoter like has to talk him into it. Like Rocky, you can only get one chance in a lifetime, kind of thing. But like I don't know, like that's just you think. Going into it, Rocky is this shallow dude, but like as it goes on, you're just like you start seeing layers there, and that's what Rocky's honestly one of my favorite characters in like movies. He's so good.
So, anyways, what are some things about the movie that you're like that didn't age well? What are some things that you think?
That's a softball question.
Really,
you know good and well what. Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
Like, I'm sitting here trying to think to myself. Like, that's why I'm asking you so that I can think while you answer the question. What are some things that you were like, okay, if remade, it doesn't go like that? I don't know.
Well, I think for one, and I think it's played mostly innocently. But if it was made today, the dating scene would have been totally different. Like, he kind of comes off a little bit scummy the way that he's like. So persistent. Adrian's shy. She doesn't want to go into his apartment. He's like, "Come on!" He like literally. He gives her no choice. Like either that or she walks home alone at nighttime.
Yeah, he kind of pressures her.
I'm just like, bro.
For sure.
And we're like in such a consent type culture, like Me Too and everything. Like we're like, I'm just like, what's? I remember thinking that when I saw it a couple years ago. Yeah. Even then, like, it's definitely not meant to be that. And I think it even almost comes off sweet at the end, like, because he's really, I think, just trying to tear down her wall that he knows her to probably have up to, like, him. And when he takes off her glasses and hat and, like, sees her for who she really is, or, like, she sees that, he sees her beyond that, like, I think that that says a lot to her, and she's able to, like let him in, basically. But yeah, I probably wouldn't let my children watch that scene and like get dating advice from.
It's like, okay, kids, do not
take it with a grain of salt, kids. This is 76.
This is, yeah, watch it. It's a period piece, kiddos. People don't date this way anymore.
You don't sleep on the first date.
Nope.
It's Thanksgiving.
It's Thanksgiving, man.
Spend time with your family.
With your fam. Like, yeah, that was weird that I was like,
Paulie's a piece of crap.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't think that. I think he's one of the best characters, though. But we'll get to that. For me, though, something that didn't age well is I don't know, kind of the show. I don't know if that works. I don't know. I you kind of stole mine in the dating part, but I think the slow, like, as far as filmmaking goes and what we're used to when we're used to, like, this marvelly, like, quick wit and scene to scene, action thing. Like
Yes.
this movie is slow, and for me that really helped create a scene. It's like books these days. Like if you read a book, like my little brother loves reading like books that were written a long time ago, like The Lord of the Rings. Right, he reads The Lord of the Rings. I read the first chapter of Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, all you did was describe where the hobbits live, and I'm bored. Like I don't care.
That's one scene.
I want like that is the flash across the first
That's
5
the
minutes of the
establishing
movie. That's
shot of the setting.
and you just spent 1,000 words
the
describing it for
brainpower.
me. You know, like
Yeah.
And so I just like so that frustrates me about like a book like that, and maybe that's just our culture these days. But that's another whole nother topic. But that wouldn't happen in a movie today, and if it did, people might get up and leave the theater, I would think. Or
Yeah.
people would be like, "Oh, this movie is slow." Whereas I haven't watched Rocky 2. Maybe I should go watch
Yeah.
it. But I would assume that the next movie is made in the same style, where you're like seeing him live his life, and it's a lot of even though his facial expressions aren't that great, you can tell he's thinking. You know what he's thinking about, and I think that has a lot to do with he wrote the movie. You know,
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone wrote the movie, and when you write the movie and play the main character, it's you know exactly what your character is thinking, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was thinking I was going to come in and dog Sylvester Stallone's acting, but
Bro, that guy can.
that was good.
act.
Like it was good. I'm
I
not sitting here
only-
trying to.
I don't think I would
gush
have
over
ever
the movie,
really.
but-
I don't think I'd ever really thought about it if I didn't see Sly acting, and they call him Sly. That's his name.
Yeah.
His nickname.
Well,
I
I don't
Creed
think the acting
act his butt off, dude.
he did. I have to watch Creed again because
He
I don't like that.
he was nominated for
Or
supporting
didn't
role,
first time I saw it.
and he didn't win, and people thought he was snubbed. People
Well-
thought he was snubbed. They thought he should have won an Oscar. But,
I'll definitely have to watch Creed again after watching
like,
Rocky.
That's the thing. Watching Rocky, which I think we should do Creed, because we kind of. I'm pretty sure we have a disagreement on that. Which it should segue from this, because I thought that's why we were doing this in the first place.
Sure.
You don't like Creed.
I
Well-
don't remember liking Creed. Obviously, it's been years since I watched it. I watched it when it came out in theaters and walked
I
away
think
going,
they have a
that
lot-
was average. I didn't enjoy it all that much.
They have
But
a lot of similarities,
Yeah.
for sure. But
I
no,
also-
I wanted
yeah.
to go back to talking about the slowness.
yes,
I think it's a beautiful thing. It like the movie is able to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just able to walk on the sidewalk with Rocky, and, like see what his world is. Like I've never been to Philadelphia. This movie, I feel like I've been there. I want to say that's like a similar thing too. That like, I watched Star Wars here pretty recently,
Mm-hmm.
and dude, it's a lot. It's like very slow. The very first one, and there's like, it kind of has a similar kind of pacing. But I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not all the time, but there are times for it for sure. No, yeah.
yeah.
What else were you saying?
No, it's all I had.
Oh.
So let's talk some characters. Like obviously we like Rocky. We love his arc of like going from the underdog and being Rocky and being a kind of a bum, but he's actually like this really good guy that cares about people and cares about stuff. Let's talk about Paulie, like his friend. So I think the scene that solidified this relation, like helped me understand this relationship more, is the scene where he's got the bat, right, and he hits all the furniture and makes everyone upset, and it ends up Adrian like coming to live with Rocky because of it's scary,
Yeah.
and he's drunk. Like you get that obviously, like he's a drunk and has alcohol problem, but the very next scene, like cut away from all that, next scene, it's like nothing happened. He shows up at the box, he shows up at the gym, and Rocky's like, doing his workout or whatever, and he's like, hey, you can help me take these off, like just casual, like,
yeah.
no, hey man, what
That's
happened
really
last
funny.
night? No, what's
Dude,
the
what was
deal?
that?
Or now
You
my
have
sister's
problems.
living with you, no, like
Bro,
not-
like you almost killed me
almost
with a bat.
hit
dude.
me and your sister
You-
with a bat. Yeah,
You realize that you got a huge problem? Like,
Yeah.
that never happens.
none of that.
That's
None of that. That
Yeah.
was so strange to me. I think that was another thing that maybe wouldn't age. Is just like a freak out and then walking past it. But
I think that's a cultural thing though. Because I
just
feel like I've seen that in some. I've seen it in other movies. I can't like say like firsthand account. Like
I think that happens in our lives,
I've
like
seen
in our
I've
world.
seen some cultures like definitely like coming from Louisiana and stuff, like where people are like loud and like rambunctious and they talk a lot. Like
Hmm.
sometimes words don't mean a lot. Like they're
Hmm.
just like talking crap or whatever. But
Yeah.
and that's kind of how it's like. It's just taken as face value, and where we would just move on or whatever. Like us, where we'd be like, bro, like we need to have an intervention with Polly. Like
Yeah.
that was out of hand, right? He almost killed you. But
And then he lets
I
Paulie make
never.
like a couple $1,000s off of his name.
Hey Rocky, can I?
And
Hey yo Rocco, can I profit off your name? Literally just
I was
ask
just
him
like,
that.
what? It just doesn't like that kind of like
And then he's like, yeah.
but that scene to me says so much more about who Rocky is than who Paulie is. Like, Paulie has problems. He's a guy who's working, at probably what would be like a minimum wage to a little bit more than a minimum wage job. That's not a fun job. He doesn't like it. I mean, he was like, "Get me out of this meat locker," right?
And
But
how about this? How about this even more
that
though?
says a lot more about Rocky to me. That whole
How about this
scene
though?
and stuff.
Um, remember he's walking out to the ring and he has
The
the
on
meat
the
shop
back of this thing, yeah.
like logo on his shirt
Hmm.
because they're gonna pay him money and he was gonna give it to Polly. Like it was just something nice he was doing for Polly
Yeah.
because he lost his job because of him basically.
Hmm.
And he's walking to the ring and Polly's on the side of the walkway like where's my money at? Like bro, like get in the crowd. This is
Like,
a major sporting event like
yeah,
on network television.
so strange. He must. They
Where's
must.
my money
They
at?
must like go back, right? They must be like childhood best friends or something, and Paul is
Yeah.
just going through it, right? Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, so with Paulie being that way, and I don't know the whole sister, like Adrian being his sister, like all that, just strange. It's just a weird dynamic. It's like I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about
Yeah.
Adrian. Adrian's there. She's the love
Sure.
interest. And not that
Hey, she has a
they
she has
have.
a nice little scene where she stands
Yeah,
up to her brother
she
and
does.
she moves out and everything. Like she starts making her own decisions.
Hmm.
She starts dressing cute. Like she was dressed up at
Hmm.
the sporting event and everything. I
And
was
when
like,
she brings
oh
him the dog,
yeah. I was like,
yeah,
man, she's like they're like being goals right now. Like
yeah.
that's cute. Yeah. That was
One of my favorite lines for the whole movie is Rocky's like talking to her. She's not talking a ton because her character doesn't talk a lot. She's really shy, but he says something to her and he's like, why do you think we work? And it's like, I think we work because, or maybe she asks somehow, why do they work comes up. And it's something to the effect that you fill my gaps and I fill yours. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Like,
I totally thought that was a sex thing, dude. Totally thought it was a sex thing.
oh,
Listen, I'm only saying because right after that, Polly is he's accusing him. Have you slept with my sister? Right after he says
there's
that, so I'm
there's
like,
really no indication that they do. Like, you never see her leave in the morning. I mean, obviously she stays with him, but they sleep.
yeah,
He sleeps on the couch and she sleeps on the bed, right? Granted, it's like a twin size, but there's no real indication that they ever actually. It's not very relevant. That might just be a sign of the
sure,
times.
sure.
You know,
I mean,
I, I
one could
it's
definitely
not as
imply
obvious as the
one way or
implication
the
isn't
other.
as obvious.
Yeah. They do sleep together before the night of the match. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
that's
she's
true.
comforting and he's like in pain.
Yeah.
Like I don't belong in this. That scene's really sweet too.
Yes. The whole.
Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
sweet scenes, and it's not just like good old wholesome
Mhm.
sweetness
It's
or
kinda
whatever. It's like special. Like
grungy.
there's something different going on. What do you say, cringy?
Grungy. I like.
Oh,
It's not polished, right? You watch a movie today and
he's
it's got
walking
like Chris
he's walking
Evans in
away.
it, and
Yeah.
it's
Well,
like
like
these
just
really
the
pretty
music is
people.
different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's like nobody in there looks like a movie star. They
Yeah.
they all look like real people.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a thing going on there, but
Yeah,
I think that helps the realness. Like just him like walking home after the fight with the music playing, that piano music.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, I'm falling in love with this guy right now. Like he's so ah, his life is just and you want him to do well. Then he gets a shot, and he doesn't even want it because he doesn't think he's worthy. Then he takes it because he's like, yeah, why not? And then all these people that never paid attention to him, like Mickey, we should talk about Mickey. Like never paid
Yes, I
attention
want
to
to talk
him.
about Mickey.
Now that he's like all about him, and like Rocky is like, yo, what the heck? Like, get out of my face, like with all this stuff. And then he gives him a second chance
Yeah.
for
No,
no reason.
I think Mickey's a great character to talk about because
I love Mickey.
I I, I think all of the characters exist to teach you more about Rocky. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think that any of the characters exist to be their own character. I think all of them exist so that you learn more about the character who is Rocky, right? Because
Mickey, it's a fitting title.
Yeah, I mean, think about Mickey. Like, I mean, we talked about it with Paulie specifically, like the way he just keeps caring about Paulie. Like, we never see Paulie's thoughts or Paulie's emotions or his face as he's walking down the street. But like with Mickey, something that surprised me was like that in that conversation, he's like, "I did come to you. I wanted you to help me and mentor me, but you never did."
And he started when he was 20 years old, and he was 30. He's like, literally 10 years ago, I wanted to like start building up and becoming a pro. And yeah,
I think that Mickey's character is like what Rocky would become if Rocky never got the shot. I think because you see, like Mickey's like, yeah, and he is punching holes in my cheeks and like talking about all these, like he's like, I had one good fight and I did great, and then you know what all the headlines were about? They're about that other guy, you know, like blaming other people for all these misfortunes, and never thinking like, oh, I have a chance to help a guy, but instead he's like, hey, you need me, like as opposed to let me help you. I guess it's those two. It's that difference in attitude, but Rocky's like willing to admit like I'm scared and I need help. Like I need someone to help train me, and I'm gonna need someone next to me in the ring because my drunk friend ain't gonna be that person, you know. And Adrian isn't even gonna watch the fight because she doesn't want to see me get beat up. So,
dude, and
he needed somebody.
It's definitely a good thing. You see the improvement that Mickey does include on him, like after training him, which is a shame because he could have been imparting all that wisdom on him all those years, like the footwork and I guess at that point, I don't know. Mickey's a businessman. He's got to focus where his focus is, and if he had those other fighters that he was focusing on, he thought they had promising careers and whatnot, and. Yeah,
but I think that scene is great where Mickey comes and offers help, and you see like the internal struggle in Rocky is just so. Like I thought that scene was done so well because you have, like he doesn't have to say a word. He literally says nothing, but his body language, he's like, this is where I'm.
He's like he never makes eye contact with them. Yeah. The moment
leaves and goes into the bathroom.
Literally, the moment that Mickey like starts his what is like just him trying to talk him in it. What am I trying to say? He's like his pitch. That's what I mean. He's trying to like pitch him into like having him be his manager. Literally, Rocky like he checks out. He like I'm pretty sure he grabs something in that moment, starts eating, walks into the other room, starts feeding his turtles.
To the bathroom.
Yeah.
When
he's like I'm out.
When he hears the door open and then close because he was like, oh, I have to go get my hat. He comes out of the bathroom and sees him and walks right back in. Like.
Yeah.
But, you know, then Rocky's like thinking about it, and he's like, I need help. And he does the thing, he gives him a second chance. The same way he gave Paulie a second chance, the same way that he gives Adrian a second chance. Oh, and that's ironic, because doesn't Mickey make the statement, like, he says something about Jesus or the Bible teaches us that there's no second chances, which is like the exact opposite of the gospel. But
I don't know, dude. Wait. He said something about the Bible, and I'm like, I don't think that's in there.
No,
he said.
Here, I'll look it up. I want to know the exact quote.
It's like the Bible says, and it was like something that's like not from the Bible. It's just like a a normal saying.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Tell me if you find it.
Okay. One
Because I
second.
definitely remember thinking. It's kind of like somebody saying, just like the Bible says, "I am what I am."
What is it? Mickey quote about the Bible. I just googled that. Rocky Mickey quotes. Oh yeah, go to images maybe. See, this is the good part where you can cut and like go. Oh,
Yeah. All this stuff doesn't matter unless it does. Oh, we are live right now.
no one's watching. It's okay.
I will say this too. I do think Sylvester Stallone has gone on record as saying that this movie is supposed to have some religious implications. Like, I don't think he outright says it's a Christian movie because you can't say that. But I think it could be like a metaphor for redemption and maybe
Okay, here it is. He says, Mickey, I'm here to warn you that you got to be very careful about this shot that you got at the title. Because, like the Bible says, you ain't going to get a second chance. Which is like the exact opposite of what the Bible says. But I thought that was funny because Rocky gives him a second chance. Like, this is, because I believe this is, I needed your help about 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago, and you never helped me none. Like, that's during that big conversation in that scene that we're talking about. And so Rocky, like, immediately after this guy's like, you don't get a second chance, he's basically asking for one. He's like, Rocky, like, I can help you. And it's like it would give him a little bit of recognition, right? Like, if the guy that you're training goes the distance with the champ, like,
if he would have been like, listen, I screwed up, Rocky. I never saw your value. And here you are with this opportunity of a lifetime, and I wasn't there to support you before. It's like, will you please give me a second chance? I'm sorry, kind of thing. He never does that. No. He's totally pulling like, oh yeah, here's all the good stuff I could give you. Like, you need me, kind of thing. Like,
yeah, Rocky is again, these characters just, they tell you more about who Rocky is, and Rocky
here's a good example.
These second chances.
Here's a really good example. Is that little girl that he walks home, and I think that really is a huge character moment for Rocky, because I think he is a dude that doesn't receive attention a lot, or like he kind of does, but not like the way that he needs it, I guess, in his life. And he's literally just pouring out, like, gushing advice upon this girl, like that he probably wished somebody would have given him that advice, kind of thing. And he's doing it to this girl, and she, like, but at the same time, he's being a total angel. He's walking her home so that she ain't on the streets. She's able to get home safe, and he's like giving her like good sound life advice in a way. It's a little rugged, but. And then she turns around and she's like, "Screw you, creepo." And then Rocky just walks home alone. Just like, that's his life, man. Just constantly being a nice guy and just having to walk home alone, like in the dark. But then, like, this second chance comes knocking, man. And no, yeah.
So
it's definitely an underdog story.
Last character I think we really need to talk about is Creed. I don't remember Creed being such a showboater, I guess, or such a big money man. Like, I think that kind of took me aback, because I do remember the Creed movie and his son, right? I remember him being like, at least in part, like, being this real big underdog guy, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the movie forever, so I can't really draw back to that knowledge. But Creed was like, I'm a big dog. I'm this big deal. I want to fight the Italian Stallion because that sounds good. And it's like, you have to see the fall coming, right? Like, pride comes before the fall. It's right there. He's got his big head and, like, seems to be a good guy, right? Like, seems to, yeah.
Are you gonna preach? Are you gonna preach on this movie?
No. I don't preach on this
movie.
Mean,
I guess it'd be out of touch with your audience.
There's plenty of different movies to use. But yeah, anyway. So I think Creed's character, when you watch the fight, you see him realize in that first round, I messed up. Like he's like, I haven't trained.
When he gets knocked down. Yeah, he is. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
there's that scene where it's his trainer is watching TV. They're all over there talking business,
Yes, yeah.
talking shop, and the trainer's like watching, like
Like
like this dude's punching that meat.
he's working his butt off over here. You better watch out, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
And I think
But,
that I really the fight's not that long. It's not much of the movie, and I think that
no.
the end of the movie to me reinforced the fact that Sylvester Stallone didn't write this movie to be a boxing or sports movie, because at the end of the movie when they're announcing the winner and all this stuff, you can't hear it clearly. The subtitles don't even pick it up because I watched it with the subtitles on. All that you see is him.
You don't know who wins.
He's saying Adrian, and he's looking
You
for
find
her,
out
and
who
he says,
wins.
"I love her." But
That's how. Yeah.
you finished
By
this
the way,
movie, and I was like, "Wait, who won?" I mean, I assume Creed won because he set the fight up, and I assumed that he would win by decision. And I'm sure I would. I mean, I'll probably go watch the second one just to find out.
But that is a really good point. That like it draws no attention to that outcome
Yeah.
because that wasn't
It's not what the movie's about.
the point. That wasn't what it was leading up to. It was leading up to Rocky, like kind of like fulfilling this purpose in his life.
Yeah.
And guess who is like they're interviewing him and stuff. All he wants to talk to is Adrian because that's like
His person.
somebody that has kind of helped him find that purpose, really helped like build him up and everything to like get to
sure.
that. And they're literally just screaming, "I love you." That's how the movie ends. Like it's just so sweet, and like every movie should end on a freeze frame. By the way, that's just the way to do it. with the music playing, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was surprised, and when I finished the movie, I was sitting there. I was like, that's like just the thought I kind of walked away with was this is not a movie about boxing. This is a movie
Movies?
about a man like kind of reaching for the American dream and finding love, right? Like almost a love
Like
story.
movies don't do that to you as often as like you don't get a movie that does like has that kind of reaction to you that Rocky does.
Yeah. Like
But I do want to go back to Creed.
you go in to watch a Marvel movie, right? And you're like, this is going to be a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Or you
it's
go
kinda
watch
like
a DC
eating-
movie. This is going to be a superhero movie. What I would love is to walk into a
darker.
Marvel movie and at the end go, that wasn't a superhero movie. That was a love story. That was a romance. Like that was.
I think that's what
you know.
Scorsese was saying. I think that when, have you ever heard that quote he made about Marvel movies?
No,
Is
I
that
haven't.
they're not movies, they're like they're theme park rides. He got a lot of flack for saying that.
I would agree.
Yeah,
with
they're
that. Or-
Yeah, like
Close.
They're almost like it's not like a film per se. It's like just like a theme park ride. It's almost like when you get a Snickers bar, you eat it. It's gonna be a Snickers bar every time.
Yeah.
It's just like a Marvel movie. Every time it's gonna be, and you get juiced up on your sugar, and then you're on your way. It's not like a movie that changes your soul or anything.
Yeah.
Like,
But wouldn't that be
when's the last
great?
time a Marvel movie's done that?
Wouldn't it be great if like that happened? Like it's like yeah,
That'd be great.
there were superheroes in
That'd be
this
great.
movie, but this movie was not about superheroes.
Without getting too much into it,
Like sports. This movie's about
the
sports.
Suicide Squad,
I mean, it has sports in it.
the Suicide Squad, that definitely had a few scenes in there that did that to me. It's like, dude,
It's too distracted by all the other stuff. We can talk about that movie another day. So those are
Absolutely.
like so. Final thoughts on Rocky. Give your
dude, no, whoa, we're not done
Okay,
with Creed,
sorry,
bro.
we're not done.
We're not.
We're not what?
I gotta say this in the same. We're not done with
you're not done with
talking about the
Creed.
character
Okay.
Creed.
My bad.
And
Well, good
like,
thing we can
I just
cut
wanna
for the
say-
video.
Yeah, no, it's. Hey, dude, I say uncut, like no cuts, just unedited, pure, unadulterated.
Well, I want to try to make
Fun.
it shorter so that people watch it. But anyway, go ahead.
You could always do the Joe Rogan Experience thing where he does snippets and puts them out as this is the topic they talk about for 10 minutes or whatever. And we the JRE of movies. I don't know. Anyways, Apollo Creed. In the same way that Sylvester Stallone is an American treasure, I think Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed is absolutely he's a treasure, dude. Nobody could have played those two roles better than they did. Like,
I
Kinda
don't
like
really
this-
know actors from that time, so I can't weigh in. But
I
I
mean,
thought they did wonderful. I think they did great. Yeah.
I guess I don't know. Yeah, I don't know enough actors to be like maybe this actor could have done that also. No, like I'm just saying in general. Like I think they were those characters. Um, they're like the epitome of what those characters could ever be, and it's cool because they're like I think all. Here's something I'll say about all the characters is they're all playing like a shtick, right? Like Polly is definitely just that um
Drunk rude
like
friend.
that drunk friend, or like Mickey is definitely like that old jaded like coach or whatever that's trying to live his glory days. Um, Adrian is kind of like the almost like the damsel in distress. Creed is like this. He's this hot shot, but and then Rocky's the underdog.
Mhm.
But there's more. They're like they all have a little bit of nuance. Like Paulie's more than just that. Like he's like he had a character moment where Adrian stands up to him and he immediately like shrinks down. Like you could see like the dynamic of the relationship. He like just immediately goes into like a vulnerable position. And like Adrian, the way that she even stood up to him in the first place, like Creed, like it's cool to see Creed because he like learns a lesson because of Rocky, and they're able to become friends from this. It's kind of a bummer
Spoilers.
because it's kind of a bummer because we it would have been kind of great to like just do the entirety of the Rocky series, including the new movies, but which actually I haven't seen Creed 2. I have, but I don't remember anything from it.
Yeah.
But
You don't see a lot of movies do that either, where they pick up exactly where they left off. But I
oh,
mean,
yeah, like
that's
Creed 2, you saying? The
like
way that it
Rocky to Rocky 2. Like,
I mean, that's what I meant. Rocky 2.
yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Are we done talking about characters?
Wait. Wait. That's something else about Creed.
It's like all the characters.
I don't know. I genuinely think Carl Weathers is a cool dude, but anyways,
Yeah.
that's about it on that guy.
So, final thoughts on the movie as a whole. I guess final thoughts. Like, okay, if you had to rate it, I guess where do you put it? Scale of 1 to 10. I don't know. What do you want to use? IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes. What kind of rating are you looking at here?
Oh,
Where
I
would you
mean,
personally put it?
yeah, maybe I'd do something more like Jeremy Johns where he just like does a saying.
Yeah.
It's a movie that makes me want to improve myself and better my life. That's what I'd rate it.
Okay. I'm gonna flash that on
Yeah.
the screen. Makes me want to improve my. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I so for me, I think Rocky is a movie that I. Here's how I'm gonna rate it. I'm gonna show my kids that movie. Rocky is a movie I'll show my kids because I think it's a great story of someone overcoming, someone giving others second chances, someone who works their butt off to get their dream. Like I think that those are important things, and so, yeah, that's how I'm gonna rate it. I will show my kids this movie. Not maybe,
It is
maybe
not
the
a kid
scale
movie.
is it's the first movie, or I will definitely show my kids this movie. I might. I'll tell them it's good. I'll
What are you gonna
avoid
do
show.
with kid movies?
You know, I don't know. Like, obviously, kid movies
I'll
first.
watch
I'm
it with
talking
my
about when they're
kids.
like, I'll watch. I will watch this with my kids. Not I'll show it to them. I will watch it with them because I will want to see
Well,
it
I was
again.
saying like because Pixar movies you're able to enjoy it as well. It's like
Oh yeah,
I'll watch that one. That's what I'd rate it. Like I'm willing to also watch it anyways.
I will watch this movie with my kids. That's how I'm gonna rate it. There you go. All right. So, and that would conclude. Or no, I guess we need to have like an outro.
Didn't you say something about a top 3 or something?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have an outro, and then we'll get to top 3. Yeah. So that's our thoughts on Rocky. Comment below what you think about Rocky. Tune in every week, and we'll have a new podcast up talking about maybe an old movie, maybe a new movie.
Tune in.
This has been Will and Daniel,
Wait, what?
two
Let me,
guys. What
and
movie?
thank you for joining here on CNN. I wish I
Actually,
had some papers.
to conclude every episode, we're gonna have a top 3. So our top 3 for tonight is
What is it like? Sounds or something?
what is it? Top three
Uh,
what?
Sounds is what
Top
the text
three
message said.
sounds. What are
Like,
your top three sounds,
sounds?
Daniel? You'll give one, I'll give one. We'll go back and forth till he
Like-
gets number one.
Sounds. What do you mean sounds?
Top three sounds, like
Like sound effects.
applause. Is applause one of your top three sounds? You know, like, I don't know. A sound. Think of sounds that you like. And what's your top three?
Like any sound.
Any
will
sound.
do. Just like a sound.
One sound. Not like a song or not like, just a sound. Like one sound. Lasts
How is
for
this
like a
related to
second.
movies?
It doesn't have to be related to
Like-
movies. It's just for fun.
Sounds.
Doesn't all have to
Okay.
be business. Maybe it could be sounds from movies.
Sounds.
One of my favorite sounds from a movie is the THX.
Are you talking about in the Clone Wars?
Where it, like, it's that sound that goes, that just like swells.
I was like not knowing what you were talking about.
Play sound here. Play sound clip here.
You know why they do that? No, there's a fun fact with that. They do that to like express how, like it concludes all of or encompasses all of the sound that TV is able to like project.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, here's a quick little
That's
demo,
not actually one of my top
demonstration.
three, but like there's an example
it's
if
not
you
a
want to
bad-
make movies.
Not a bad sound.
The
But now I
bum
can't use it.
bum 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 ba-dum,
It's just totally a song.
That's totally a song. Okay, sounds. Top three
I'm
sounds.
bad at this game.
Okay, one of my favorite sounds. I'll just start. Top three. Number three is the sound of a wooden bat hitting a baseball. That crack, just a solid hit, just like, just a great sound going to a baseball game, a professional baseball game, hearing the baseball hit the bat.
And then the crowd.
Oh,
It's a home run.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's very sad.
One of my top three sounds. That's got to be it.
Oddly sad.
Baseball hitting a bat. All right, what you got? Number three.
I really enjoy the sound. I enjoy hearing somebody like really clear their throat really good. Like
Yeah.
you can tell they got it. Like it's
Okay.
just,
Okay. A good
my
throat
throat
clear.
is clear.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, my number two sound is going to be rain on the roof. Like just but not like a
You're
nice
right.
steady downpour with little thunder in the background.
It's like
Just like yes. Like where it
yes.
sounds like
And
the
then I'm
sky
like,
is
I'm
just
watching a movie tonight.
yes, it's like the sky is sighing on your roof.
All the lights are off in my house, and I'm watching something, and not doing
There you
anything.
go.
Yes.
Top two sound,
Yeah.
rain on the roof.
Yeah, dude. Can I just use all yours for mine?
I sent this to you so you could think about it.
I didn't know what it meant. I was like, sounds.
Yeah, just
Sounds
sounds.
like a sound.
Daniel, you really like Whataburger, so maybe the sound of reaching into a Whataburger bag and grabbing the fries.
Like paper crumbling. I will
Rustling
say
of
all
paper.
of these sounds
Yeah,
does have it does exhibit like
it makes you feel a certain way.
like an impulsive reaction, like almost like a Pavlovian. Like my mouth.
Mouth starts
to
watering
salivate.
when you think of the
All
sound of a
of these.
Whataburger wrapper opening.
Yeah, or like, oh, here's a good one. The sound of like a Coca-Cola can or any can really, of soda
That's a good
or
one.
beer, alcoholic beverage, because I'm that whatever.
Yes,
It's like, I'm about
that's
to
a solid sound.
have a refreshing beverage. So excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good
That
one.
is
That's
my
a solid
number
number two. Yeah, that's really
Thanks,
good.
man. I'm trying to think of like some good, reasonable answers because I don't know how to answer this question. Best sounds.
Best sound. All right.
Anyways, best
Well, don't
sound.
worry, 'cause
Number